Thank you, Chairman Bowles. There's no way around it. It's a difficult issue for all of us. Even though this came to the council fairly late in the game in terms of the FRA's process, I feel I can honestly say I've done my homework on this issue. I've read the EA multiple times, including another time late last night. I've reviewed all the materials that have come to me from the neighborhood since even before I was elected to this body. I've certainly listened to neighborhood concerns. I actually have first-hand experience being on the ground on each one of the 6 alternative sites. I think Mr. Schaefer was referring to me when he said one of us has had an environmental career. I guess that's me. I don't have as many decades in engineering as Mr. Wallace does, but I have well over 2 decades of environmental and land use profession in the state of Maine, including being a private consultant, of course, being the former natural resource planner for the town of Brunswick, and reviewing in Augusta permits, including environmental assessments and environmental impact statements for the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. I have a thorough understanding of the NEPA process. I've written EAs, I've written EISs, and I gotta honestly say the EA prepared for this facility is pretty darn good as far as EAs go. In terms of weaknesses, there's a lot of information not included in this EA about the other alternative sites, including, I think Mr. Coombs pointed out, the aquifers, but there's also wetlands, rare species impacts, historic and prehistoric impacts, and other various issues that, because the EA focuses on feasibility of the project sites as a layover facility and didn't invest in on-the-ground resource investigations, doesn't cover. But each of those issues would push, in my opinion, the facility to this site as the preferred alternative with the least environmental impact. Certainly there's no argument that there will be impacts to the neighborhood. But in terms of a functional site with the least of all the alternatives presented, I'm confident that this is the site. I don't see a conflict with this facility in the Town of Brunswick Comprehensive Plan. If you read the 2008 plan, it talks about this corridor as an area where industrial development will be encouraged and additional residential development would not be, for the purposes of growing different businesses and different economic developments along the Pleasant Street Strip. I do feel that there's been ample opportunity for public comment before the EA was drafted, after the EA was drafted, and I'm confident the FRA will take all that into consideration in their deliberations. I can't applaud the Brunswick West Neighborhood Coalition enough. I wish more citizens would engage around issues such as this on a more regular basis. But at the end of the day, my job is to represent my constituents in District 2 while also keeping an eye, of course, on town-wide interests. I made a concerted effort over the week to talk to as many of my District 2 constituents as possible. I've taken their emails, I've taken their phone calls at home, and even Mr. Sala kept the 100% trend going, but each and every one of them has asked me not to support this issue. When I was approached by the councilors several weeks ago about putting this on the agenda, I was supportive. I thought to myself, what is the harm in doing or requesting an EIS and having more opportunity for public input, especially when in the back of my mind I didn't think that level of effort would change the outcome landing on this site. However, I now feel, given the political involvement, especially of our chief executive officer and others, that there is real harm in moving forward with a request to the EIS. I think there are some political motivations behind the scenes that are anti-train, anti-Amtrak. I think Brunswick should take a vote of confidence not supporting this and letting the process play out. I also feel that we could have an opportunity here to address a lot of the site management concerns that Nicole and others raised. If we take a proactive approach to working with NEPRA for the creation of this facility, for oversight, form a citizens advisory committee made up of councils, of neighborhood members, similar to what we did with the last large controversial project, the Mirror Point Boat Launch, which I don't think anyone could deny was very responsive to neighborhood concerns. I think that would be a much more appropriate way to go than to invest further federal tax dollars on an EIS, further paperwork, likely again to arrive at the same conclusion.
Is Councilor Walker, is the only alternative if an EIS is asked for by the Federal Rail Administration with or without our input, is the only alternative that it goes to the goes out to the Crooker site?
To the Crooker site?
Yeah.
No, what I was trying to say was because these 6 alternative sites were included in the EA, these 6 alternative sites would be included in the EIS. Once you get that additional information, I think the chosen site, the Brunswick West site, would be even more favorable.
But wouldn't it be possible that they would just say none of them are favorable?
I guess that would be possible.
Okay. Councilor Perlt,